What's going on, my broskies? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and we have a data download for the next batch of units that are going to be arriving very shortly to continue on with the celebration of One Piece's 10th anniversary, or One Piece Treasure Cruise's 10th anniversary, that is. And this is going to be involving, obviously, more Egghead related characters, and we have S Snake debuting as it looks like a Kizuna Sugo-Fest exclusive character. Now it's interesting because usually with the anniversary, or at least the last year or so, we had an anniversary which had like 3 big Super Sugos back to back to back introducing new units. It doesn't look like they're doing that this time around. It looks like, you know, the anniversary with Shanks, Luffy, Roger, Ace, they just seem to be like the characters that are debuting for the 10th annie, and it looks like we might already be moving past that, so I'm not too sure if there's going to be any more Super Sugo units, you know, for this 10th anniversary period. We'll have to wait and see, but nonetheless, let's just talk about the new units at hand, including the new Super Evolution of Rob Lucci. We have a Super Evolution of the free-to-play Luffy, which we'll talk about as well. There's just lots and lots of new units. So the first thing we're going to talk about, let's talk about S Snake, who is going to be debuting as the Kizuna Legend coming up after the treasure map has concluded. So this S Snake is a Dex unit, which is kind of surprising because we had S Hawk come out as a Rumble unit being int. We had S Shark come out as a Dex unit, also as a Rumble unit. So it just kind of made sense. A lot of people just kind of thought that S Snake was going to debut as a Rumble unit and being either a Strength unit or a Psi unit, but they just totally put that on its head, and it's just debuting as a Kizuna Legend, which is kind of surprising. But I think out of all of the Seraphim, this was the one that a lot of people were looking forward to. But let's have a look and see what this character actually does. So it's a Powerhouse Cerebral, which is also kind of interesting for the classes. The Captain ability reduces the crew's special charge time by 1 turn at the start of the quest. Dex, Powerhouse, and Cerebral get 1.3 health, 5.25 times attack. Boost their attack further for every perfect strike in a row. So every time you hit perfect, the attack multiplier increases over and over and over until you hit 5 perfects in a row. Your last tap is going to be a 6 times attack boost to that character. It also heals 2 times character's recovery for every perfect that you hit at the end of the turn, and this really unique utility piece of her captain, reducing blindness and burn duration completely. So that's pretty unique. Not too many characters have the ability to do that. Removing blindness as a captain is kind of an odd choice, but removing burn, that can be useful in some use cases, but the captain ability is just kind of okay. It's nothing really that crazy. We move on to her special ability, 13 turn cooldown. Removes any matching or unfavorable slot effects placed on the crew. This is pretty useful. I know that Sabo Koala has this type of effect, and this is very, very nice to have. So anytime the enemy gives you an effect where certain slots are counted as badly matching, this removes all turns of that. It inflicts the Love status to each enemy, which binds regular attacks until they are hit 8 times. So 8 combo hits, and then that character will be able to attack. They can perform an action against you, and then it also reduces counter healing duration by 6 turns and applies a weakened status, which increases damage taken by 1.5 times for all enemies. And then if the enemy has increased damage taken, then it gives an additional 1.25 times multiplier. And it's not really an additional, it is multiplicative, so it means that it's basically 1.5 increased damage taken, but if you have weakened status and increased damage taken, then this 1.5 receives a 1.25 times multiplicative buff added on top, or multiplied together. So if we pull up the calculator, 1.5 multiplied by 1.25, 1.875 increased damage taken, and this means if you have increased damage taken on the opponent, you can multiply that times the weakened status to get even more. As we have a look at the rest of her special here, where it says that weakened status does last for 2 turns, which is good. It also gives 80% damage reduction until you're hit 1 time. So this is a permanent damage reduction that is applied to your crew, but it gets removed as soon as you take a hit. So whenever you take your next hit, it's reduced by 80%. So my assumption is that one of the mini bosses in this Kizuna is going to have a preemptive attack which does like a huge bit of damage as soon as you enter the fight. So if you use this before you enter, you can tank the damage, or there's just going to be a death hit on the final stage, one of the two. Furthermore, it does also state that it will give a 2.0 chain addition for 2 turns, which is a very, very significant chain addition buff. And this effect cannot be removed by the enemies or the crew, so a chain buff that can't be removed is very strong. And then it says, if Luffy or Hancock have launched a special during the turn, or the enemy has a weakened status when you launch the special, then it applies a increased damage taken status to all enemies by 1.75 times, ignoring immunity to status effects for 2 turns. Meaning, if you can have, you know, the weakened status applied, and then you apply this S-Snake special as well, you can multiply this by 1.75, and basically any damage dealt to the opponent while this special is active, you're basically doing 3.28 times the amount of normal damage against them, which is incredibly strong. Albeit the fact that the weakened status that is applied with the special does not go through full status effects, but the increased damage taken does. But you need to have weakened status or a Luffy or Hancock special launched in the same turn in order for this to become active. So it's a bit convoluted, and yeah, this unit's okay, but I don't think it's like the most busted unit ever. This unit just seems okay. We move on to the super type, which you can use her as a captain to get access to super typing when any of the following characters are on the crew. So you've got Luffy, Hancock, or Sentomaru, or if the crew has a matching or unfavorable slot effect status. Okay, very unique. Reduces attack down above a certain chain effect by 6 turns. So this removes chain attack down by 6 turns. That is very valuable. Not too many characters can remove that. Boost the crew's attack based on the damage reduction effect applied to the crew. For example, if you have 80% damage reduction, you get a 1.8 attack boost for 1 turn. So this works very well with this character's effect, meaning that anytime this damage reduction is active, you just get that attack boost added on top, which is good, just more damage applied. It also heals the crew by 30,000 HP that can overheal. It says heals crew by 30k HP up to 2 times max limit, and changes Dex into Super Dex. Okay, right, that was a bit confusing towards the end there. But yeah, 30k heal that they can overheal, as well as Dex becoming Super Dex. So as you can see, it's not amazing. It's okay. I think the character is really carrying this unit because people are going to pull for this unit just because it's S-Snake. But to be honest, this character's like not amazing. It's just okay. We move on to the other effects, the crewmate abilities. Base stat boost is fine. Reducing blindness by 10 turns, that can be useful for sure. And then the other one here, you get a 800 HP heal at the end of the turn. That can be pretty good too. Potential ability of recovery bind and recoverable HP amount down duration removal by 10 turns. The character does have final tap, and the final tap at max capacity can give 1500 base attack to the unit for 1 turn, and makes this character's normal attacks hit all enemies for 1 turn. So this is an okay final tap. It's not really that good. Again, it's a very weird use case because it's only good when there's multiple enemies on the enemy side of the field, and it just gives a base attack boost, so it's not a humongous increase, but it does make sense because this character does have the chain buffs. So you want to build up your chain, final tap with this unit does a lot of damage. That's basically all it does. The support effect doesn't do that much. Now in Rumble, her Rumble ability, her Rumble passive, Dex teammates 5 health, 5 attack, and free spirit enemies 6 attack down and defense down. That's pretty cool, honestly. Just more debuffs versus free spirit, which is very, very solid. 32 CT for her special, large range, attack down level 7, speed down level 7, and then 2.5 damage in that large range. So that's pretty solid. And then 2 free spirit enemies, 100% chance of confusion for 10 seconds. This is incredible. This is a very, very good special. A lot of the characters that have had confusion in the past have never had a guarantee chance to do it. This is the first character in my recollection that does have guaranteed chance of confusion, so this alone is very strong. It does only target free spirit characters, but it is still very good nonetheless. And then in resistance, half stats of reduction, and then 30% damage reduction versus quick. So I think the S-Snake is fine, but look, considering we're just coming off of the 10th anniversary, I think a lot of people, like, if you've got gems, you shouldn't really be pulling for this unit. This unit's okay. She's going to be recurring on other Kizuna Clash Sugo-Fest in the future. I think you're fine to skip this Sugo-Fest character overall. You do not need to pull this unit. So we're going to continue on with some more Dex support with Rob Lucci. So the super evolution of the super type Rob Lucci is finally here. I think the artwork honestly could have been a little bit better. I was hoping for something a bit more dynamic. Maybe the ink effect is going to look a lot better for this unit. But nonetheless, we have the awakened form of Rob Lucci, which is a character that we've been waiting to see for a long time. And once we did see that Lucci was going to be the super evolution unit, it was pretty clear to see that this was going to be his super evolution form. So Rob Lucci being a Dex powerhouse shooter character, which is interesting. I believe beforehand he was a Dex powerhouse fighter, so this is a little bit different. So he's got different captain abilities based on his level limit break, and same with his special ability. So I don't really want to go through the normal effects. I kind of just want to go through his actual buffed forms. So we've got his captain ability here, which this is with level limit break 3, reducing cooldown by 1 turn at the start of the quest, Dex, Powerhouse, Fighter, and Shooter. So even though he's not a fighter anymore, he's still boost Fighter, which is good. Dex, Powerhouse, Fighter, and Shooter characters, 5.5 times attack with a matching slot, 5.25 times otherwise, 1.5 health, so pretty stock standard so far. Greatly boosts the crew's chance of landing on a type slot, on own type slot, so basically higher chance of landing a matching slot. If the crew uses a special to boost your slot effects, extend the duration of it by 1 turn, and heals the crew's HP, it looks like, by 1 times this character's recovery every perfect that you hit. Okay, it's a bit weird that this character has that specifically, and at the end of each battle, heals 30% of damage received during that battle. That's actually pretty neat. So this allows you to actually tank quite a lot of damage, and as soon as you move on to the next room, you're just healing for quite a lot of damage. Especially you're healing for every perfect, you're healing for all the damage that you've taken. So this is a very good tanky captain, but it doesn't actually do that much. Like, yeah, 1 turn of cooldown, you've got your attack boost, health boost, slightly higher chance of getting, it says greatly boost chance of landing your own type slot. Don't know how good that's actually going to be. And then extending slot boost, like, it just doesn't do that much. So I'm a little disappointed by this. It just doesn't do much. Now, of course, you got the super type. This does not get buffed with level limit break, but the super type says it does damage to all enemies, ignoring all defensive effects and base defense. So you could actually use this to speed farm, potentially. Use this just to wave clear certain stages. It further increases your slot effect buff by 0.5 and extend the duration of base attack boost by 1 turn, and then Dex becomes Super Dex, and you can use it whenever you get an orb boost activated on your crew. So very easy to activate, I suppose. You do need an orb boost, so I guess it couldn't really be used for wave clearing, so that's a little annoying, I suppose, but the super type is fine, and it makes sense when you have a look at the fully buffed special. So the special here is, of course, with the max capacity that you can possibly get, level limit break 5. It completely removes all enemies' defense up. That's obviously very good. Burn reduction by 7 turns. 200 times his attack and non-type damage to all enemies, so good damage dealing special. And boost Dex, Powerhouse, Shooter, and Fighter characters' base attack by 1750 for 2 turns. Very significant base attack buff. If the crew has additional damage at the end of regular attack, so this is like end of turn damage status when you launch the special, it further increases your base attack by 250, which can apply from this special. So this can make it a 2000 base attack boost for Powerhouse, Shooter, Fighter, and Dex characters. That's pretty strong. And then after that, it adds 200 times his attack in non-type damage on top of tap timing bonuses for 3 turns. Okay, so maybe, I don't know if this is talking about end of turn damage or if this is just talking about tap timing bonus damage. The way that this is worded makes it, okay, so it's not end of turn damage, it's tap timing bonus damage. Okay, so that's a little disappointing. I was hoping you actually had end of turn damage. That would have been way cooler, being able to get around resilience and stuff like that. Unfortunately, not the case. So basically saying if you have the tap timing bonus damage, you get additional base attack, but if you don't have it, then it adds tap timing bonus damage for 3 turns. It then says that if you have an orb boost when you launch the special, increases all enemies' damage taken by 2 times for 2 turns. So that's pretty strong. But then boost Dex, Powerhouse, Shooter, Fighter characters' orbs by 2.75 times for 2 turns otherwise. So basically, when you launch the special, you get the orb boost, but if you already have the orb boost, then you get the increased damage taken for 2 turns. It's a 2 times multiplier. Doesn't go through full immunity. He does do actually a lot of different things with that special, but it's the fact that, like, you don't really get all of the buffs unless if you're running like double Lucci to get the most out of it. If you do run double Lucci, you will get the 2000 base attack, you get the tap timing bonus damage, increased damage taken, the 2.75 times orb boost, and of course if you have a look at the super type, you can buff the orb boost by 0.5, becoming a 3.25 times orb boost, and if you use him as a captain, he does extend the duration of the orb boost by 1 turn, becoming a 3 turn 3.25 orb boost for those characters, which is honestly pretty good. And I believe somewhere along here it also increases the duration of base attack, which can make it a 3 turn buff. It makes sense. The character just does a lot of damage. He doesn't have like that much utility. Like the utility is removing defense up completely. That is good. And then removing burn duration is fine. But then the rest is just solely focused on damage. So I don't know how good he is, honestly. He just seems kind of okay. Not the greatest super evolution that we've had, which is disappointing. I was hoping Rob Lucci was going to get some crazy stuff. He just seems fine, honestly. Moving on to his Rumble stuff, Rob Lucci is actually pretty good in Rumble. He's very, very offensively focused. His Rumble ability giving 8 attack, and this is with level limit break 2, by the way. Rumble ability, Dex get level 8 attack, level 5 speed, and then quick enemies, HP down 5, attack down 5. That's pretty good. Very, very good against quick characters. And then his special buff at level limit break 4 for 27 CT, which is very respectable. Enemies in a large range get defense down level 5, 2.75 times damage, and then Dex teammates get a speed buff, and then quick enemies 2 times damage. So again, if you're using your mono Dex versus quick teams, this guy is going to be one of the best characters to use against them. You just do absurd damage to them with a very respectable 27 CT is not that much. So for a special like that against quick allies, or quick enemies should I say, this is going to hurt them really, really badly. So I want to talk about the next one here, which is going to be the super evolution of the free Luffy. Now the free Luffy that I am talking about is a character that we just got from the Blitz battle, which is this Int Luffy right here. So you can super evolve this Luffy from the Kizuna Clash, it looks like. You're going to be able to secure yourself the Luffy here, who does super evolve into a Dex unit who was previously Int, but it's Dex, Powerhouse, and Slasher, which is so fascinating to see a Slasher Luffy. Very, very strange. But this Captain ability with the buff here, with the super evolution, -1 cooldown, reduces ship special by 3 turns at the start of the quest, so that's very unique. We haven't seen many characters do that. Obviously, the Annie Shanks does completely max it at the start of the quest, but for a free-to-play character to do it is pretty good. And then Int and Dex characters get 4.5 times attack, 1.3 health, recovery, and tandem slots are matching. So not a great captain. He does have super type, which boosts the color affinity of Int and Dex by 2.25 for 2 turns. That's actually really good. And then Int and Dex characters get an attack and orb boost by 1.25 for 2 turns that can be overwritten with other attack and orb boosting effects, and then Dex becomes super Dex. So you may think that this is a really weird effect, but when you have a look at what the special does, reducing all enemies HP by 20%, removes stun completely, reduces attack down by 6 turns, and if you have an attack and an orb boost at the same time when you launch the special, it boosts Int and Dex characters' chain multiplier growth rate of normal attacks by up to 0.6, so you get the 0.6 increase for 1 turn, but then it says, after that, boost Int and Dex characters' attack and orbs by 2.25 for 2 turns. Remember that this is an overrideable attack buff, so as long as you use the super type before you launch the special, you're going to get this 2.25 times color affinity, you're going to get the debuff removal of attack down, removing stun, and you'll get the 0.6 chain multiplier increase, and then this will overwrite, giving you 2.5 times attack and orb boost. This character providing so much to Int and Dex characters for a free-to-play unit to do all of these buffs is actually pretty good. I don't know if you're going to be using him that often as a captain to get access to that super type, because his captain does only go up to 4.5, so I don't think you're going to be using him that often, but not a bad free-to-play unit, and I think he could see some play on some like accessible teams, for example. He is immune to stun, which makes sense with his special. And as for the other effects, like, it's not really that important. He doesn't really do that much, and in Rumble, he's really not that good either. So, yeah, look, he's getting a super evolution. He's an interesting unit for sure. I love the artwork. I think they did a really good job for this one, but I just don't think it's going to see that much play. So the next character here is Usopp. Now, Usopp is actually a support recruit. With this upcoming Sugo-Fest, they're actually combining the support Sugo and the Kizuna Sugo-Fest together. And this Usopp is going to be like the new support unit for this batch. Now, the unit doesn't really do that much in normal content, but we have a look at the support effect. It attaches to any of the Straw Hats, and it says once per quest, if the supported character uses a special to delay the enemy, it changes the crew slots into block, right? It changes your crew slots to block, but it heals 5% of your max HP, and locks your crew slots for 1 turn, and boost the chain multiplier by 1.2 times for 2 turns. This is a chain multiplicative buff, not a chain addition, so this is one of those very rare chain buffs that you can stack with all of your other ones. This is a times, not a plus. Now, it is unique in the fact that it has to be on a Straw Hat that delays. However, the 10th anniversary Luffy that we just got does have a delay special that does go through full immunity. So you can attach this Usopp to that new Luffy. It will give you a full board of block slots, but remember, the Luffy does have a special which says that your int and tandem slots are not able to be changed when you launch that special. So basically, if you activate this with the 10th anniversary Luffy, these block slots are never applied to your crew. So when you launch the special, which Luffy delays, it will basically give a 5% heal, an orb block, and a 1.2 chain multiplicative buff for 2 turns. Of course, you can apply this on other Straw Hats that have delay effects. You will still get the block slots, but you can manipulate it with other types of specials. So that's interesting. Very, very unique support. I think it's going to be interesting. I don't know what the Kizuna gimmicks are as of right now. Usually these support characters are useful for the super boss that comes out with the event. So we'll have to see exactly how this is going to see play. I don't know if it's good right now, but we'll have to wait and see to read the gimmicks to determine whether or not this is actually good. But at face value, with the new Luffy, it could definitely have some use. The orb blocking is kind of fun. Orb blocking supports are relatively rare, so I think this is like honestly pretty decent to have, especially just synergizing with that Luffy is very, very good. So before we wrap up, let's talk about the 2 generic Kizuna rare recruits that are coming along here, which is going to be Frankie and Brook. It's kind of funny, it feels like Frankie and Brook are always relegated to Kizuna rare recruits, but either way, Frankie is a Dex powerhouse fighter, so I believe he actually works with, so he's a Dex unit, works with Ace, powerhouse unit, and a fighter unit, so he works with Luffy, but it doesn't actually work with the new Shanks, which is interesting. Either way, captain ability just doesn't really matter that much, but the special ability reduces special charge by 1, it reduces all enemies' barriers by 2 turns, that's pretty good. If the amount of HP that you've healed beyond your max HP is 30k or more, you can choose to swap out this character as the captain for 1 turn, and then boost the chain multiplier by, this is a multiplicative buff for 2 turns, boost the chain multiplier by 1.2 times otherwise. Okay, interesting. So you can switch him out to the captain position, and then if you do that, his superclass can activate, which can choose to completely remove captain swap, which makes sense. Boost crew's base attack by 800 for 3 turns, add 0.25 to multiplicative chain buffs, which is from his special, extend the duration of those multiplicative buffs, and then change his powerhouse into super powerhouse, and you need to have 2 of the straw hats on your crew. So I guess if you're running like Luffy with the rest of the straw hats, you can abuse this type of effect. I don't think Frankie's that good, to be honest. Like, the only real thing that's kind of interesting, the crewmate abilities are not listed here. Oh, okay, they are here. He does resist special reverse. That is good. Okay, so he can resist special reverse and then use his special to give cooldown to your crew. That's cool, I suppose. And then the barrier removal. But the whole, like, captain swapping, chain multiplicative buff stuff, yeah, it does give you a bit of extra damage, but it's not that great. It's just okay, honestly. It's just fine. So that's Frankie, and then finally we also have Brook. So Brook is an Int, Free Spirit, and Cerebral unit. So Brook actually does work with all 3 of the anniversary units. His special ability delays for 2 turns, which means you can use the new Usopp with this character. So he delays, makes Strength, Quick, Sight, Recovery slots matching for 3 turns, locks the slots for 2 turns, which is weird because why would you want to use the new Usopp if he just does this? Okay, interesting. Changes block slots to character's own type, so block to matching. If the amount of HP healed beyond your max HP is 30k or more, you can choose to swap this character out for the captain, boosts orbs by 2.5 for 2 turns. Okay, but it says you can also just get the 2.25 times orb boost otherwise. Okay, this is an interesting special. And then the super type, you can choose to remove captain swap, boost damage dealt to delayed enemies. That's actually really nice, works very well with that special. Further increases the crew slot effect boost by 0.25. So this character can be a 2.75 orb boost and extend the duration of that orb boost as well. And then int becomes super int. And again, you need some of the straw hat characters in order to make this activatable. Crewmate abilities, int is carried over when you hit a perfect, int and tandem are beneficial. And then the support effect. Oh, I forgot about to talk about the support effects. Okay, so Frankie's support attaches to Dex Straw Hats, it looks like. Once per quest, the supported character uses a special while the captain heals 3% of the max HP and reduces barriers by 1. Wow, this is a very, very good support. Barrier removal supports are incredibly rare, so Frankie support, I mean, as much as I don't like the unit overall, that support is pretty valuable. And then Brook, it has to be an Int Straw Hat. Once per quest, if you use a special while the captain, makes recovery slots matching for 2 turns, and locks int slots for 1 turn. Okay, that's pretty good. And then changes int character slots into recovery. Yeah, this is a great support. Both these units are fantastic and will definitely see play due to their support effect alone. Of course, you have to use the support while they are the captain, and it has to be like very specific in terms of which units you can attach them to, but overall, like just pretty good units, honestly. So that's the breakdown. It was a pretty long breakdown of all these brand new units here. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Which of these new units are you most excited for? I think S-Snake is not really that great. I was hoping for a little bit more for this unit, honestly, but it is unfortunate. And I think Rob Lucci was a little undersold as well. I think this unit could have definitely been a lot better, but we move, and when this new stuff comes out, I definitely want to make a video with Rob Lucci, see what he's all about, because I'm a big fan of this character. So we'll see. When he drops, we'll see. We'll do a showcase for him, and hopefully he can show me up, and hopefully he's a really strong unit. But that's going to wrap it up from me. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. And that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.